What is going on, my bourbon and my boxing fans, man? Welcome to my show, Bourbon and Boxing, man. I am your host, Jeff. Welcome to one of the biggest fight weekends of the year, and that is saying a lot in 2023, where we had one of the most amazing years of boxing. And to say that this week is probably the biggest and the best card of the entire year, hands down. No questions asked. No hoorah, no hoopala, no lies. Laying down here, baby. This is all 100% true and
Awesome!
awesome. Like that guy just said back there. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that input that you just did. But check it out, man. I'm your host, Jeff, man, and this is episode 37, Day of Reckoning, named after the Saudi Arabia event going on this weekend. The only card we have going on for this weekend, especially after a fun-filled December where every weekend's been 3, 4 main cards and boxing on Wednesday, boxing on Thursday, boxing on Tuesdays, boxing on Friday, boxing on Saturday, boxing on Sunday. I mean, it's just been unreal. We've been getting so much boxing that my brain is overloaded with boxing. That was my own sound effect because I do not have a blow up sound effect. Maybe I'll get a better soundboard in 2024 and improve my stuff. You heard what I said. I'm going to improve it. Don't question me, guys. But check it out. This is my episode, man. And like I said, man, I wanted to add a segment to my show last week. And I did. I did add a segment to my show, a new segment on my show where we go over whatever bourbon I want to choose for my bourbon of the week. Now, I had a couple different bourbons this week. And I will tell you, I had a shiitake mushroom of a bourbon this week that Knob Creek should absolutely be ashamed for ever putting out. And if you're out there, just heed my warning. Unless you want to feel like you ate a giant waffle and down some fucking maple syrup, do not get the maple Knob Creek, maple smoked Knob Creek. That shit was like drinking pure syrup. I'm just terrible. Just don't get that. That is not the bourbon I'm reviewing this week. I don't want to give shitty review bourbons. If it's a crappy bourbon, I'm not going to put it on my show unless I paid a lot of money for it or something. But this week we're going to review Cooper's Craft. I had it earlier in the week, guys, and it was actually pretty good stuff. It's got 50% alcohol, man. Aged about 4 years, costs about 30, $35, so not too bad on the price, man. This is from the word of Cooper Craft Barrel Reserve themselves. It's born from our one-of-a-kind chiseled American white oak. Chiseled. It means it's buff. It's ready. It's very oaky. Yeah, it is definitely got an oak taste to it, guys. To me, man, let me give you my thoughts on it, man. It's a dark, rich bourbon that covers dark sweetness oak, dried fruit, and spices. Doesn't have a bad heat to it or a lingering spice taste, so don't get that heartburn. Like the bourbon I had last week, I liked a lot, but the heartburn was just fucking horrific, man. It ripped my ass up, man. It was horrible, man. I woke up in the middle of the night with heartburn every time I drank that shit. For 3 days, I had heartburn off that shit. But it was overall good bourbon. This stuff doesn't do that. You can taste the spices, but it doesn't linger. It's not overbearing. Good stuff overall. I really liked it. It's got a better smell than a taste. It's oaky, but it doesn't have a strong, distinctive oaky, like malty rye style taste like most bourbons that I might prefer uh, personally. But if you don't like an overbearing, strong bourbon, then Cooper's it's pretty good. That might be perfect right up your alley. Now, one thing I learned about testing out my bourbons, man, is to swirl them up a little bit, let it set there. And I found out that this one, if the longer you let it set there, the more of the apple orange flavor kind of comes out of it. So you get a little bit more flavor aroma out of it if you let it set for about 15, 20 minutes, so around there, around that time of it. Like I said, man, I'm going to give it an 80 out of 100. It's not my favorite, but I would definitely purchase it again, and I would recommend it for anybody who hasn't tried it and you like more of the oak bourbon because this is pretty good, not bad stuff. But that is my review on the bourbon of the week, guys. So let's take this shot. Then we're gonna jump into the mega card coming up this weekend, baby. That it's just undeniable, baby. Boxing has been the sport of the year. If we had that sport of the year, it would have to be boxing. Because from January all the way to December, even the day before Christmas, getting this unbelievable Christmas gift from the Saudis. Just thank you guys so much for this Christmas gift. This is an amazing card. Probably the best. Might be one of the best in history. Definitely the best card of the year from top to bottom. Uh, God, and they put it together so fast. I don't know how long they were working on it, but it came together fast. And it goes to show that money talks and bullshit walks. That saying is 100% true because when they flash some money in front of these guys, they jump right on board. Demetrius Bivol did not care that he was not the main event. He was getting paid regardless. None of it. Wilder, I don't give a shit. I'm getting paid regardless. Hergovich, all these guys, they don't give a shit. They're getting paid like a main event. All right, so they don't give a shit to be the fourth, fifth, sixth fight on that list or, not the main event, not the co-main event. That's how big the money must be for this. I'm wondering how much Saudi pulled out for it. We'll figure it out. But, hey, before we get into it, man, let's take a little bit of shot. Now, today I'm drinking on Elijah Craig rye. It's not bad stuff. Of course, Elijah Craig's always good. I'm an Elijah Craig fan, but I needed to grab something. After grabbing that horrific Knob Creek maple syrup ass, waffle tasting ass, just elf spaghetti eating ass, bourbon. All right, I had to redeem myself. My wife actually redeemed me by buying this stuff because she wasn't having it. She took one drink of that shit and was like, "Oh Lord, I know you didn't. What is wrong?" But hey, let's take this shot and then get into the main event, baby. Thank you. I won't call it a shot. Just call it my swig. I'm a swig on it. Take a little drink of soda. All right, man. Like I said, this weekend, December 23rd, on the Zone pay-per-view for $40, guys. $40. $40. You're going to get possibly one of the greatest cards ever put on in boxing history. And it's going to be the two co-main events. Going to be Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallen. And then you're going to get Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker as your other main event. So it's two co-main events. And then before that, now going into this fight, before I even get into the undercard of it, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Before I even do that, calm it down. Back it up, Terry. Back it up. But look, check it out. What is at stake after what was announced this week? This week it was announced that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder had signed on for a 2-fight deal in 2024, the first fight being in March. So which means that before these guys go fight on Saturday, they've already agreed to fight each other in 2024 at least 2 times, I guess, or automatic rematch clause, all that kind of stuff, right? So what's at stake now is that if one of these guys lose, what happens? Does that still stay on the table? Because Anthony Joshua is in a 100% 50-50 fight against Otto Wallen, who is a tough young competitor. And this is a 50-50 fight for Anthony Joshua, especially his previous performances that we've seen, even with the knockout of Robert Helenius in his last fight. Helenius is just, I feel like he might at this point be, maybe he's a dive artist, I don't know. But he gets knocked at, he might have a glass jaw. So hard to really see that, but it was nice to see Joshua get a knockout. Maybe that brought out some confidence in him that he's been lacking, and you can see it in his fights, in his eyes. In the corner, he lacks a lot of confidence, I feel like. And if he ever gets that confidence back, he might be very, very dangerous. But if he can win this fight against Otto Wallen and then Deontay Wilder, who I think can beat Parker. Now, don't let everybody, you don't underestimate a vet like Parker, who can box, who's got great ring IQ, all that other stuff. You can't overlook him, right? But I feel like Wilder's going to catch him like he does everybody else, and he's going to lay him out. So I think Wilder's going to move on for sure. But if AJ loses, then you got a 4-loss fighter who has no chance at probably regaining a championship status in his career if he takes a loss to Otto Wallen. So does that deflate that entire two fight deal? Does Saudi Arabia back out? Because then that makes it really hard to sell that fight. Because then everybody's going in thinking, well, Deontay's obviously just going to knock him out. Why would I pay for this fight on pay-per-view? And what other reason? I mean, how else are they going to make the money off that fight, in my opinion? Ticket sales, I'm not for sure if one of these guys loses, how well those ticket sales are going to go and how well the pay-per-view fight's going to go. So this is really risky on both of these guys. Number one, you're overlooking the opponent that you're fighting tomorrow and looking down the road at an opponent, which could be considered disrespectful to the guy that you're fighting. I know if I was a fighter and you're overlooking me, you already signed to fight a guy next, which, I guess you can do that. Who said you can't do that? But at the same time, you always told, focus on what's in front of you, not what's ahead of you. So to me, this is two guys who are kind of focusing on what's ahead of them. And maybe you call it confidence that they both feel like, hey, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to handle business, and we're going to fight in 2024. But, if we get that, that's going to be if both of these guys win, then, hey, we're getting that fight 100% sure. A fight that is well past its prime should have happened, 5 years ago, possibly. These guys should have fought. But it didn't happen. Who knows what the reasoning behind any of it not happening. But the fact is that if these guys win, it's going to happen. So if both of these guys do what they need to do on Saturday, handle their business, then we're going to see both of them fight in 2024, possibly March. I thought for sure we would get them on the undercard of the Usyk Fury fight. Why not make it a mega blockbuster, another mega blockbuster event by Saudi Arabia? But they want to spread that out a little bit because I think they feel like Joshua Wilder is a main card by itself, so don't sell it as an undercard. I get that. Make all you can off that. But that being said, man, we've got to go into talking about this undercard. Gosh, guys, man. I mean, you're talking Demetrius Bourbon will be fighting Lyndon Arthur. You're going to have Daniel Dubai will be fighting Jarrell Miller. Philip Hrgovic will be fighting Mark DeMurray. Ja Opatia will be fighting Ellis Zorro. You're going to have he's German. I don't know what the fuck this guy's name is, man. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. You'll see another guy on there. He's a tough rushing dude. You'll know who I'm talking about. He's supposed to be favored against Ajit Khabib. And then you got Frank Sanchez versus Junior Fa. I mean, come on, man. Look at that card. Number one, the Demetrius Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. Demetrius Bivol is a main card fighter. And he's going to be your third to, last fight on that card. Philip Hrgovic on that card. The Ellis Zorro, undefeated Ellis Zorro, going up against Ja Opatia, and another undefeated young fighter who lost his IBF belt for taking this fight, which would have made it a lot more interesting, but it's still going to be a hell of a fight. Zorro is the underdog in it, and everybody's favoring Ja, which, maybe Zorro takes that as, but I don't think he takes it lightly because he has actually come out and said, hey, this is going to be the toughest fight of his career. No doubt about it. As we pour ourselves a little bit more bourbon. It's called Bourbon and Boxing, bourbon. Fucking judge me. What is wrong with you guys? I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing. But look, this card going on, like I said, it's going to start at, what sucks is it's going to start at 11:30. So if I buy the pay-per-view at $40, maybe I get to come home, do what I need to do early in the day and then use it as my nightcap without finding out who won all these fights. So it starts at 11:30 here in the States, Eastern Time. That sucks. It is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be located in the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's going to be on the DAZN pay-per-view, like I said, for $40, guys. For $40, you're basically going to get AJ Wallen, main card. Wilder Parker, main card. Bivol Arthur, a main card fight. Dubai Miller, a main card fight. Ja Opatia versus Ellis Zorro, a main card fight. So you're looking at 4 of the 5 main card fights on there. that are going to be the undercards fights on there. But altogether, just what you're going to get tomorrow for $40. Come on, man. I know it's easy to go stream shit illegally and just pop on a site and watch it for free. But for $40, you can watch it without any buffering and having to you know, refresh your page or worry about pop-ups and all that other bullshit. For $40, guys, you can't beat the price on that. I'm sorry, the Bivol AJ versus Wallen on the Zone would cost you $60. You know what I mean? If that was a pay-per-view fight, Wilder, Joshua Parker would be a pay-per-view fight on any other platform, and they would charge you $60 to $80. Demetrius Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur would possibly be a pay-per-view fight. I don't know how much it would sell, but that would probably cost you at least $60. So to get all these fights for $40, you can't beat it. Don't be cheap asses, man. Go out and purchase that. I know it's easy to not purchase it. I get it. To get it free is better. But whatever, when you have to deal with all that other bullshit, just pay for it. Whatever. Let's not get into what other people do. Whatever, man. I ain't judging you, bro. But look, man, we got another fight going on. We're going to get a present the day after Christmas. We're going to call it a late day present. But before I get into that, man, let's jump into our sponsor of the show, Brown Family Construction. For all your construction needs, reach out to Brown Family Construction. Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. You can find all their information at the end of the show, or reach out to Jason Brown on Facebook, Brown Family Construction, where he'll take care of all your construction needs. And the name says it all. They treat you like family. Thank you for sponsoring my show, guys. And let's take a little swig to them, man. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas to Brown Family Construction, Jason Brown, Nikki, his, I guess, future wife, not for sure. But thank you, guys, for sponsoring my show. All that cool stuff, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you guys this year. I really need some ice, but I don't have any. I do, but all right, guys. Let's jump into the ESPN card. That's going to be Tuesday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. We're going to get Noah Inoue versus Marlon Tapples in a bantamweight title fight. Undisputed, because we know Inoue holds all the belts already down there. So this fight, man, is going to be a hell of a fight. Of course, we know Inoue is the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Some argue that he is the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. Marlon Tapples is no pushover, so this is going to be a hell of a fight. But I kind of expect Inoue to dominate in the fashion that he always does. No one has seemed to really give him a tough fight yet, and he just seems to be that guy that he's definitely something special. And like I said, you can argue him as a number 1 pound for pound, number 2 pound for pound. Either way, him and Terrence Crawford, the two best in the sport. In a way, it's just amazing to watch. If you guys have not watched him, they call him the Monster. Of course, he is the Japanese Monster, I guess maybe I'm wrong there. Might not be Japanese. Maybe I'm wrong. But he is a monster, as they call him. He's very special to watch. His movement, his fluency in the ring. He does everything great. And he's like a lion going after his prey. He will come at you, and he comes at you strong. So I don't know what to expect from Marlon Tapples. Honestly, how he's going to handle a guy like Inoue, not for sure. But that's going to allow me, with this fight being on Tuesday, that's going to allow me to do my recap on Wednesday and not Monday, which is Christmas Day on Monday, guys. So, of course, I wouldn't do a recap on Monday. Tuesday, I work, and then I'm going to watch the Inoue fight when I get off work, because it's going to be on ESPN. I'll be able to rewatch that when I get home, because that's going to be an early fight over in Tokyo. And that's going to be around, I would think, about a 9 a.m. start time, December 26th. It's going to be in the Oroka Arena in Tokyo, Japan. It's going to be a 9 a.m. start time in Eastern time is what I'm thinking. Don't quote me on that. It might be earlier than that, being in Japan. Sometimes those fights start about 5 a.m. in the morning, and that's super early. But the last one that he did, I know, started around 9 o'clock, if I'm correct, because I was able to catch that day I was off work, which was
awesome.
Oh, yeah. Bourbon burps. But yeah, guys, that is definitely something special we're going to get to see, man. I'm definitely looking forward to that, which I think is just going to make going into the new year just amazing. I mean, 2024 is already going to give us a heavyweight undisputed fight coming up, so we're going to get blessed with that early in the year, uh, in February. We got a couple fights in January. Now, I'm probably going to do one more show after this. I may not cover the December 31st fight. I may end up just doing my pound for pound list, my fight of the year, my fighter of the year, all in one show, which is going to pretty much be one show in itself. And that's how I'm going to end the year. And then in 2024, I may take, I might take a few weeks off, and sit down and really kind of, because I want to do some new things with my show. I want to find some new outlets. I want to start bringing people in, start doing guest appearances, all that kind of stuff. Go out there to the gym, start talking to these coaches, look at some amateur fightings, team up and collaborate with, a couple other groups. A guy, a group down in Louisville that I'm talking to about doing, a bourbon. They've got an event, bourbon and boxing coming up. They'd like for me to join them on that. So that's something that I'm hoping to jump into, bring you guys some new content, a little bit differentness to my show. I definitely want to get into the graphics part a little bit more. Hopefully Santa brings me a laptop for Christmas, a new one. Santa Claus, are you listening? I don't want to have to come down and kidnap your elves, all right? I don't want to have to hold Mrs. Claus hostage. So, I mean, we can do this the easy way, and you can just make sure there's a new laptop under my tree during Christmas. I can come to you personally and just take my laptop. How do you want to do this, Santa? How you want to do this, Santa? You want to handle this the right way? I don't want to get physical, but just let's do it easy. I know I'm probably not on your good list, but whatever, man. Just bring me a new laptop. That's all I'm saying. So hopefully a new laptop, some new graphics, some new designs, all that cool stuff that I want to try to do with the show. Bring in some guests as far as doing interviews, things like that, man. Take it to the next level. This is my very first year doing it, guys. I started this show in April. So, I'm rather new to it. It's been just me doing it. Now, of course, I've got a buddy I know I could bring in, and he could probably be a co-host with me, and he knows his boxing really, really well. Shout out to my dude Spade. You know who you are, man. He knows his shit as well as I do, and he'd be a great co-host with me. That's something that I'm thinking about doing, man. I just gotta make sure that his time and my time match up. Because people have lives, man, and this is something that doesn't pay. This is just something that I do for a hobby, man. And it's not paying me. Maybe in the future I get paid to do it, and that would be awesome to be able to do this as a full-time job, really be able to go to boxing events. That's my next thing in 2024 is maybe be able to hit up a couple events this year that are closer to me around Cleveland and Toledo and places like that, Indianapolis that I can travel to that are rather close to me. And check out a couple events at these places down in Louisville. I know they do a lot of amateur boxing down there. They do some amateur boxing, which is going on tomorrow up here in Cincinnati, an amateur boxing event also. So, different stuff that I'd like to be able to get to, but having kids doesn't make it easy. But I'll figure it all out in 2024. So that's why I'm going to take maybe a little bit of time off after I do my, pound per pound list, my fighter of the year, my fight of the year for you guys, and go over the amazing year that 2023 was for boxing and how it can continue to build on that in 2024, man, and what it has to do to possibly not only just continue to give us the fights that we want, but to maybe start doing some rule changes, getting these committees to work together better, getting these platforms to be able to cross promote a little bit better now that Showtime isn't no longer, now that PBC is no longer under Showtime, and now with Amazon, we're going to see how well is Amazon going to play with these other platforms, Matchroom and Top Rank, and can they get together and make the big fights happen? We've already seen a lot of announcements on possibilities of fights that we can get in 2024, but that same talk happened in 2022, and a lot of it fell through. Let's just hope boxing continues to build on what it did this year and only gets better And let's hope that boxing reform comes along in 2024 as a real thing and not just talk, man. Teddy, he's got things going. He's a big advocate for it. I'm hoping that he's able to take it to the next level, and I'd love to jump on that with him and be a big advocate for the reform. I feel like I have. I started this in April, like I said, and I've had plenty of shows where I speak about boxing reform and getting a one committee, one set of rules, possibly a league, and just the absolute taking boxing into the next millennium, into the next era, and catching up with all the other sports out there, man, and getting it out of the wild, wild west, as I call it. But anyways, man, before I get too deep in that and talking too much, man, I'm going to go over some boxing news. Of course, like I said, it was announced that AJ versus Wilder, had been approved, been announced for a 2-fight deal. The first fight being in March, and then how much that these 2 fights coming up tomorrow, I think, are going to either make that is definitely going to happen, or it's going to fall through if one of these guys lose, in my opinion. Conor Ben, now, he's been trying to get a fight against Chris Eubanks. We know that's not going to happen over in the British because the BBC is not going to allow it. So he is now signed on supposedly to fight Peter Dobson. That's set for February 3rd in Las Vegas. So he'll be fighting his second fight here in the U.S. So maybe Hearns is trying to build him a fan base here in the U.S. so he can bring that Eubanks fight here. But like I said, that fight is not that big in the U.S., and I don't know if you can build that to be a big fight in the U.S. I don't think there's enough fight fans for that. That is specifically, I think, just a UK fight. Amanda Serrano has signed on to fight Nina Maniki, set for March 2nd in Puerto Rico. So Amanda with a big fight set in March. I'm hoping that we can see Serrano versus Katie Taylor, hopefully by summertime. If we get that fight in March, maybe get the Taylor versus Serrano fight in June or July. That would be freaking awesome, man. Also, yeah, I already talked to you guys about my last show, all that stuff, what I've got planned for 2024, man. Not a lot of boxing news, guys, but a hell of a boxing event going on tomorrow, starting at 11:30 over in Saudi Arabia, guys. You guys got to tune in, man. This is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing fight card, man, from top to bottom. I'm going to buy the pay-per-view for $40. It's going to happen, man, and then I'm going to just come home and try to watch it later in the day. So anybody who knows me, don't ruin it for me, man. Don't send me any messages. I'm going to turn my phone off completely as long as my wife allows me to, so that I'm not getting any updates on what happened. I'm going to stay away from the internet, and I'm either going to come home and start watching that, which is really hard to do when you got kids and other stuff that you have to do, other priorities. Holidays coming up, there's some stuff I got to do to get my tree back on track because my little one has destroyed it. He is, he's a pistol, that one is. But, man, like I said, once again, this is episode 37, Day of Reckoning, after the event coming up tomorrow. Don't miss out on that, guys. Top to bottom, one of the best events of the year. The best event, best card of the year by far. One of the best I've ever seen. So hats off to everybody, man. Thank you for joining me once again. Like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Facebook group, Bourbon and Boxing. Man, I've got platforms all over, man. I want to build this brand. So join me, subscribe to my channels, follow my Spotify, my Amazon, all that, guys. I would highly, highly appreciate it, man. And thank you, guys. And once again, have yourself a Merry, Merry Christmas, man. And if I don't see you before the New Year, which I will for my other show, but if not, man, Happy New Year to everybody. And thank you for joining me for pretty much my first year of Bourbon and Boxing, and I hope to be able to bring you guys bigger and better things in 2024, man. Once again, I am Jeff, your host, episode 37, guys. Thank you.